Jai Sitaram, Pranam to all of you wonderful viewers. Welcome to this episode of Akash Vani, Gyaan Upadesh. Today we'll be discussing the period that we are in now, which is Petri Paksh. As is our custom, I will commence this program with an appropriate prayer for this occasion, for this time. Om Devatabhya Pitribhyascha Mahayogibhya evacha Namaswahaya Swadhaya Nityameva Namo Namaha Om Sarvebhyo Pitribhyo Namaha. As I said, and as we all know, we are in the period which comes every year, which is called Petri Paksh. Now this is a very important time in our calendar. And also, I will say, it is a very misunderstood time. A lot of misconceptions are perpetrated about this particular time of the year. And it is our aim in this program to dispel those misconceptions, to destroy those misconceptions, and make sure everybody has the correct idea about what is going on during Petri Paksh, what we should do during Petri Paksh, and so on. So first of all, before we go any further, what is Petri Paksh? What is the meaning of the word Petri Paksh? Well, it actually comprises of two words. The first word is Petri. Petri means ancestors. Very simple. The ancestors who have gone before us. Many of you may not have your parents alive in this world. If they have gone and all the shroud has been completed for them, they are Petri. Your grandparents, great-grandparents, whosoever it may be, and not only the direct line, but any chacha, any mamu, any mosi, any pua, in other words, any kind of uncles and aunts also, they also are Petris if they have gone before you, if they have passed away. So that is the meaning of the first part of this, of the name of this time we are in. So what does the word Paksh mean? That is the second part. Petri Paksh. What is the meaning of the word Paksh? Paksh simply means fortnight. That means half of a month. Half of a month. So that means Petri Paksh is a period which lasts for half a month. It is a half a month dedicated to the remembrance of our forefathers and making offerings on their behalf. Now, when does this time of Petri Paksh fall? It is during the month of Ashwin, which we are in now. In the Hindu calendar, there are many, many months. We know last month, when Krishna Janmashtami came, it was a month we call Bhadrapad. But now we are in the month of Ashwin. And then, in that month of Ashwin, there are two fortnights, as there are in every single month. One month is called Shukla Paksh, which means the moon is getting brighter. It is transitioning from the new moon to the full moon. That means it is a bright half, or Shukla Paksh. And then there is also a dark half to the month, which we call Krishna Paksh. The word Krishna means dark. And Krishna Paksh is when the moon is getting darker, so to speak. It is changing from the full moon to the new moon, from Purnima to Amavasya. So the period between Purnima and Amavasya, or the full moon and new moon every month, is called Krishna Paksh, or the dark half. So now we are in the dark half of the month of Ashwin. That is the fortnight which is dedicated to the forefathers, which has become to be known as Petri Paksh. So there we have it. That is the name. That is the meaning of the name of this time of year. Now, I would first of all like to say, before I go any further, this is not a time to be scared of anything. A lot of fear is associated with this time of the year. And too many things are said which are simply not true. The first thing I will address, Should we pray during Petri Paksh? Should we continue our regular prayer? A lot of people said, in fact, I have heard people tell me directly, they do not say any prayer during Petri Paksh. They do not go to their puja room in their home or their altar, whatever they have set up there. They do not go there and pray during Petri Paksh. All they do is they will clean their altar at the most. They will not chant any prayer. Quite frankly, I will say this is totally nonsensical. I apologize if that sounds harsh, but it is my job as a Pandit to speak the truth. And that is the truth I am speaking. It is nonsensical to say that you must not pray during Petri Paksh. Why do I say that? For example, if we pray to Surya Narayan Bhagavan, the sun, it is our custom that we throw a dhar, as we say, saying Om Ihisuro Sahasransho Tejo Raje Jagatpati Anukampaya Mam Deva Grahanargham Namo Stute. We do that. So we pray to the sun, to Surya Narayan Bhagavan. Should we stop that during Petri Paksh? Well, let me ask you this question. Does the sun stop shining because it is Petri Paksh? Do we stop getting daylight? Do we stop getting warmth from the sun because it's Petri Paksh? Do we stop getting light from the sun? No. The sun continues to shine for us. Surya Narayan Bhagavan continues to shine his blessings upon us. Therefore, why should we stop praying to him? The devatas who we pray to are still at work. The air we breathe, it is due to Pawan Dev. We all know Hanuman Baba is known as Pawan Putra. Well, Pawan Dev is his father. And how he became Hanuman Baba's father is a topic for another day. And, a lot of people will dispute if he's actually the father in the biological sense of the word. But as I said, that is a discussion for another program. But all I want to say about him in this program is that if Pawan Dev is still functioning and we still have air to breathe and fill our lungs, why do we stop praying then? Why do we stop offering our daily prayer? It does not make sense. So that is the first thing. We must continue to offer our daily prayer as we do normally. If we go and we chant our Gayatri Mantra every day, keep doing that. Gayatri Mantra is essentially a prayer to the sun also, for the sharpening of our intellect. Do we want this to stop during Petri Paksh? So please, I urge all of you, continue your regular daily prayer. Now, something else which you should do during Petri Paksh, if you can get kush grass, if you can manage to get that. I know those of us who live in New York, it is often hard to get that fresh. At least, the stores do sell dry one as well. If you cannot get the fresh one, then we have to get the dry one. What can we do? Our offering will still be accepted. So we get that kush grass, fresh if we can, dry if we cannot. And we would get a few strands, preferably 3 strands of it, and you would tie 3 knots in it. Because primarily, when we give offerings to our ancestors, we give for 3 generations going back. That is as specific as we can get, because very few people know who their ancestors were before that, more than 3 generations back. So it is prescribed in our Shastras that we give offerings for 3 generations primarily. That is why you will tie 3 knots in that bunch of kush grass, which I spoke of. You will find a part in the south side of your yard. And if you do not have a yard, if you do not have an outside to your home, if you're in an apartment or so on, then you'll just find a place in the south side of the apartment or your home, and you can get a pot or something and plant the kush grass in there. Again, whatever circumstance we have, we make the best of it. So we can still do it in such a situation. So you would plant the kush grass in some soil there. And every day you would mix water with black till seeds. Now, black till seed, that is a black sesame seed, according to Garud Puran, and it says it very specifically in there, it represents the perspiration from the pores of Lord Vishnu. That is what black till represents. So, If perspiration is dropping, it is a sign generally that you are active. When you are physically active, you would tend to drop more perspiration. So when black till is spread anywhere or offered anywhere, it is a sign that Bhagavan is active in that place. And that is why, for maximum blessings for our Pitris, for our ancestors, we need that black till. And also, before I go any further, that kush grass which I spoke of, that you would plant in the soil, that represents the hair of Lord Vishnu. So these are all things that originate from the body of Mahavishnu Bhagavan. And that is why they are so sacred to use whenever we are giving offerings to the forefathers, to the ancestors. So you will plant that kush grass, and then you'll get the water with the black till inside it. And if you can get some Ganga Jal also, water from the sacred river Ganga, and put some of that inside, that will also be good. And then you'll keep your right hand like this, and you'll empty the water into your right hand and let it run out between the thumb and the first finger, because these two fingers are used when we make offerings to the Pitris. Everybody knows that when we do general puja, when we make general offerings to Bhagavan, we use our ring finger of the right hand. But because we want to make a distinction between worshipping the Devatas and offering for the Pitris, there are two separate and distinct things. We do not use the same finger and the same method of offering. We choose the fingers which are furthest away from the ring finger, which are the thumb and the first finger, and all offerings to the Pitris must be given through there. So that is something we should do every morning during the period of Petri Paksh. And I say morning is generally the time when we do anything for the Pitris. You know, whenever we have Shraddh, it is said it must be done before midday, it must finish before midday, because the morning hours are when our mind is most fresh. That is when our mind is most focused. If we leave it for later on in the day, it is more likely that our mind would have become polluted with so many things that are going on in the day. We increase the probability of something disturbing our mind if we leave it for later. And this is something which requires absolute faith and dedication and concentration of the mind. And that is why we do this in the morning. Another explanation is that Rakshas can become alive at night. That means demons can become alive at night. And that is why Shraddh should never be done in dark hours. And it is said morning time is when the Rakshas would be asleep and least alert. And that is why that is a good time to do Shraddh. That is another perspective. You know, there are many different explanations and different points of view. So I'm giving you a few of them. So this is something we should do. And I advise the morning time also to do this. And this is something we can give for all of our Pitris. We can call the names of any specific ones we want to remember. That is up to us. Or if you want to make a general offering for all of the Pitris, that also is good. That also is advisable to do. So this is something we should do. And also, you know, we are supposed to offer food for the Pitris. Now, we do not do this all of the time, but Petri Paksh is a time which is chosen. As I said, the Pitris prefer that time when the moon is getting darker. And they also prefer that time after the Ganesh festivities have finished. We know Ganesh Chaturthi was celebrated recently also. So when that festival is finished, Petri Paksh starts the very next day. Not the day after Ganesh Jayanti, but after the full period of celebrations for Ganesh Ji are completed. Only when that is done, then the Pitris would feel comfortable to come and visit the earth. And they are said to visit us during this time. And that is why whenever we eat any food, it is also advisable put a portion aside and leave it outside for them to enjoy also. So, dear viewers, this is an introduction to Petri Paksh, to why we celebrate why we observe Petri Paksh, and how we observe Petri Paksh. And we will be discussing this further after this very nice selection. So please do remain with us as we continue our discussion of Petri Paksh. Jai Shri Ram.
हमने जग की अजब तस्वीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। ये प्रभु की अद्भुत जागीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। हमें हंसते मुखड़े 4 मिले, हमें हंसते मुखड़े 4 मिले, दुखियारे चेहरे 1000 मिले। यहाँ सुख से 100 गुनी पीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। हमने जग की अजब तस्वीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। दो एक सुखी यहाँ लाखों में, दो एक सुखी यहाँ लाखों में, आंसू हैं करोड़ों आँखों में। हमने गिन गिन हर तकदीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। हमने जग की अजब तस्वीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। कुछ बोल प्रभु ये क्या माया, कुछ बोल प्रभु ये क्या माया, तेरा खेल समझ में ना आया। हमने देखे महल रे कुटीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। हमने जग की अजब तस्वीर देखी, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं। एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं, एक हंसता है 10 रोते हैं।
Jai Shri Ram to all of you wonderful viewers. I do indeed hope you enjoyed that selection, which is appropriate for the discussion we are having today. As we finished the last segment, I said that Petri Paksh is a time when our Pitris actually come to visit us and partake of any offerings we have for them, whether it is in the form of the Tilanjali, the water with the till that I mentioned, or whether it is in the form of food that we prepare for them. They are here to visit us. And this has given rise to a gross misconception, I would say. People say that Petri Paksh is a time when plenty zombie are hovering about, that we should not be out late at night and so on because zombie will catch us. Now, we have to think about this very carefully. Think about this. If you have a departed mother or father, nani, nana, aja, aji, whoever you may have, great grandparents and so on, would you like somebody to refer to them as a zombie? Think about this very carefully. Is that a respectful way to refer to your departed ancestors, to call them something like that? There is a distinction to be made here. You know, Jombi is, well, that is not really a proper, an English word as such. That is something that has come up in the local Creolese language and so on, which is a language by itself. I'm not discrediting that. But Jombi is something which is classified as a spirit that would do harm. For example, they are given names in Guyana. For example, I remember there was one they called Baku, one Jombi they called Baku. These are what you call Jombi. It is not our departed forefathers. Our departed forefathers should not be referred to in this way. So if we say the Pitris are coming, there are Pitris about, the Pitris are here with us, it does not mean Jombi are around. There is one line of Hanuman Chalisa which makes reference to something which close to what we would define as Jombi. भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे. We all know that line. Bhoot Pishach. Pishach and Bhoot are described as various categories of spirits, but they are not Pitris. Pitri is something distinct from that. The line means basically, Bhoot Pisach Nikat means near. That Bhoot and Pisach, any harmful spirit, does not come near to that person, to that place. Bhoot Pisach Nikat nahi aave, Mahabir jab naam sunave. When the name of Hanuman Baba is recited there. That is what that line is saying there. So it is only the Bhoot and Pisach we have to be afraid of. And Hanuman Baba protects us from them. But they are not to be confused with the Pitris. And this gives rise to another misconception which I have heard. One time, I was at a wake house when somebody had passed away. Somebody wished to sing a Hanuman bhajan because it was either a Tuesday or a Saturday, I cannot remember. It was one of those days. And they said, you should not sing anything to Hanumanji during the time of death at any wake house or anything. Why did the person say this? They said because of that line, Bhuta Pisachi Nikata nahi aave Mahabir Jabanam Sunave. They are saying that if you chant the name of Hanumanji, Hanuman Baba will chase away the departed person. Again, this is very nonsensical. I will say that very bluntly, and I apologize if that is offensive, but it is truth. It is the truth I am speaking here. That Pitri is not the same thing as Bhoot and Pishach. We have to make that distinction very clear. So I have taken a bit of time to discuss this because I want everyone to understand it very clearly. We must not refer to the Pitris as Jombi or anything like that. The Pitris are divine beings. That is why they are called Pitris. They have gone through a process to become divine, elevated beings that can bless us. And they are here to bless us, not to harm us. Is that the opinion we have of our departed forefathers, that they are harmful? No, we should not have that. And that gives rise to another question. That if we start to make offerings for the Pitris, does it then mean that we have to continue for the rest of our life? That if we miss next Petri Paksh come, and we miss it, and we are unable to do it, then the Pitris will get angry and curse us and do some kind of harm to us. Again, Bhaktajano, dear devotees, dear listeners, dear viewers of this program, I urge you, do not misunderstand the situation like this. It is good that once we start, that we continue as much as we can to make offerings to the Pitris every year during Petri Paksh. But if a situation comes up, for example, we could end up in hospital. Heaven forbid that to happen to anyone, but it does happen. You end up in hospital and or in a bad state of health that you cannot continue it. Do you really think that your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents who you are making these offerings for, are they so cruel and merciless that they will not understand your situation? Is that what we think of our forefathers? Again, I urge you to think about this logically. Of course, they will not do any harm to us, as long as we have a good reason for not continuing it. But if we are able, if we are physically able, and our circumstances permit it, we should continue as much as we can to make offerings to the Pitris every year. But do not be fearful of it. As I said in a previous program, the motivation behind any act that we do, any religious act that we do, should not be fear. Whether it is puja, a lot of people think about this during Durga Puja as well. And Navratri is coming up. We'll be doing a program about that very soon. We must not fear when we do puja. Do not do Durga Puja because you are scared of what will happen. If you are doing it, then we are doing puja for the wrong reason then. The only reason should be devotion. And the word Shraddha comes from the word Shraddha, which means faith. That means the only motivation behind making these offerings for the Pitris should be faith and not fear. So do not be fearful. Do not have a fearful state of mind and say, I'm not going to start this because I don't know if I will continue and my children will continue and so on. So I'm not going to start it. No, that is wrong. That is absolutely wrong. Do as much as you can, as long as you do it with faith, and do not keep fear as your motivating factor. Dear viewers, we will now take another selection before we move on to our next segment as we continue our discussion of Petri Paksh, which I do indeed hope you are finding very interesting. So please do remain with us for the remainder of this program. Jai Shri Ram.
पिंजरे के पंछी पिंजरे के पंछी रे तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई, तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई। बाहर से तो खामोश रहे तू, बाहर से तो खामोश रहे तू, भीतर भीतर रोए रे, हे भीतर भीतर रोए, तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई। कह न सके तू अपनी कहानी, तेरी भी पंछी क्या जिंदगानी रे। कह न सके तू अपनी कहानी, तेरी भी पंछी क्या जिंदगानी रे। विधि ने तेरी कथा लिखी, आंसू में कलम डुबोए, तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई, तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई। चुप के रोने वाले, रखना छिपा के दिल के छाले रे। चुप के रोने वाले, रखना छिपा के दिल के छाले रे। ये पत्थर का देश है पगले, कोई न तेरा हो, तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई। पिंजरे के पंछी रे, तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई, तेरा दर्द न जाने कोई। पिंजरे के पंछी रे।
Pranam and Jai Shri Ram to each and every one of you. And thank you for remaining with us for this program.
मुखड़ा देख ले, देख ले। मुखड़ा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में हो, देख ले कितना पुण्य है कितना पाप तेरे जीवन में, देख ले दर्पण में। मुखड़ा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में। कभी तो पल भर सोच ले प्राणी, क्या है तेरी कर्म कहानी। कभी तो पल भर सोच ले प्राणी, क्या है तेरी कर्म कहानी। पता लगा ले, पता लगा ले, पड़े हैं कितने दाग तेरे दामन में, देख ले दर्पण में। मुखड़ा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में। खुद को धोखा दे मत बंदे, अच्छे न होते कपट के धंधे। खुद को धोखा दे मत बंदे, अच्छे न होते कपट के धंधे। सदा न चलता, सदा न चलता किसी का नाटक दुनिया के आंगन में, देख ले दर्पण में। मुखड़ा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में हो, देख ले कितना पुण्य है कितना पाप तेरे जीवन में, देख ले दर्पण में। मुखड़ा देख ले प्राणी जरा दर्पण में।
Pranam, dear viewers. I'm sure you enjoyed that selection that we just listened to. Appropriate for this discussion we are having today. So in our last segment, we finished off on a kind of a cliffhanger. We started discussing why do we shave our head during the time of death? And when do we do it? Well, I will say first of all, let me address when should we shave our head. The first time is for the funeral itself, in advance of the cremation. By the time you are ready to do a cremation, our head should be shaved already. The son of the departed who is performing the Shrad, he in particular has to shave his head. If there are any other sons, they are supposed to do it. And in fact, it says, Bandhu Bandhavo. That is said in Garu Puran also. That relatives, the male relatives, not only the sons, but if there are brothers, if there are any elders even, if there are nephews and so on, grandsons, all of them are supposed to shave their head at the time of death. Now, nowadays, we see practice is becoming rarer, and it is a very sad thing. Because if we are hesitating to shave our head when somebody dies, it means we are more concerned about ourselves than them. It is a reminder for us that when we are doing a shraddh, when somebody has passed away, if someone has died, we are supposed to be thinking of their welfare above our own. And that is one way of doing it. That is a form of sacrifice. You know, we are accustomed to keeping our hair nicely and so on. It is a form of sacrifice to shave out that hair. Now, it is also prescribed that Hindu men are supposed to have a churki, this piece of hair left at the back here. And that should never be touched. This should always remain. Even when our head is shaved, that churki should always be left there. It represents our intellect, and it draws power from Bhagavan also. So that is important. But that should be done for the funeral day. And I urge everybody, think about that. You are trying to distract your attention from yourself and focus on the departed person. And that is why you shave our head. So we do not have that ego. As I said, fear must not be behind anything we do, and ego also must not be there. And that is why we shave our head. And as I said, a new body forms. A new body forms for the Atma. It is a new beginning. So again, to symbolize a new beginning, we shave our head, because our hair has to grow back fresh. So it is a new beginning, and we are reminding ourselves of that the departed person is going through a new beginning. And also, it is an act of the utmost purity. You know, it is a sign of utmost cleanliness when we shave our head. So that is done on the funeral day, as I said, but also again, and this is something which is not known very much, also on the 10th day. A lot of people have the idea nowadays that it is only on the 10th day that we shave head. You keep your hair on the funeral day, you know, throughout the 10 days, and then on the 10th day, before you offer those pinda, then you shave your head. No, that's not correct. You shave your head for the cremation and again on the 10th day. So twice, in fact, you are supposed to shave your head at the time of death. So that also is important to note. So we have discussed extensively what to do when somebody passes away. Now, what we would finish off this program with is a discussion of shraddh in general, because we are supposed to perform shraddh during Petri Paksh. There are many, many different types of shraddh that can be done. And it is not only for when somebody dies, but even for happy occasion, we are supposed to perform some kind of shraddh. Again, this is something people do not do. This is falling out of practice because they believe that if you do anything to do with shraddh, anything to do with departed forefathers, then we are bringing some kind of bad luck and some kind of zombie into the home, and that we will spoil the nice celebration. So in our next segment, we will be concluding our program with a short discussion of all the different type of shraddh that we do. And we will also be explaining why it is not inauspicious to do shraddh. In fact, it is a very good way to get the blessings of our forefathers for important occasions and milestones in our lives. So please do remain with us as we listen to this selection for a discussion of the different types of shraddh, as we will be concluding our program in the next segment. Jai Shri Ram.
टूट गई है माला, टूट गई है माला, मोती बिखर चले, 2 दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले। टूट गई है माला, मिलन की दुनिया छोड़ चलेंगे, आज विरह में सपने। मिलन की दुनिया छोड़ चले ये आज विरह में सपने खोए खोए नैनों में है उजड़े उजड़े सपने उजड़े उजड़े सपने याद की गठरी लिए झुकाए नजर चले दो दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले टूट गई है माला अब तो ये जग में जिएंगे आंसू पीते पीते अब तो ये जग में जिएंगे आंसू पीते पीते जैसी इन पे बीती वैसी और किसी पे न बीते और किसी पे न बीते कोई मत पूछो इन्हें लिए किस डगर चले दो दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले टूट गई है माला मोती बिखर चले दो दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले जाने किधर चले जाने किधर चले
Pranam, Jai Sitaram to each and every one of you, and thank you for watching this episode of Gyaan Upadesh presented by Akash Vani Media. So, at the end of the last segment, we heard that we are going to discuss the different types of Shrad that are performed, besides when somebody dies. So, there is a doha from Balkan in Ramayan which educates us about this. Nandi mukha saradha kari जात कर्म सब कीन्ह हाटक धेनु बसन मनी नृप विप्रन कह दीन सियापति रामचंद्र की जय शरणम प्रभु। फिर राजा ने नानी मुख श्राद्ध करके सब जात कर्म संस्कार आदि किए और ब्राह्मणों को सोना गौ वस्त्र और मणियों का दान दिया। That is what that doha says. It says this is when Bhagavan Shri Ram came into this world. When, I do not like to use the word born when we are talking about Shri Ram, but when he appeared in this world. So we can say it was like a birth as far as they were concerned at that time. Raja Dasrath did Shrad because his son was born. Because he had to give thanks to his forefathers for this blessing. A child is a blessing. And this special kind of Shrad is called Nandi Mukh Shrad. Nandi Mukh Shrad. And this should be done when we have wedding. If you have a Upanayan Sanskar, that is a Janeu. If we have a birth, as we see here, and any joyous and important occasion. Yagya even. When you have Ramayan Yagya, you are supposed to do this kind of Shrad before you start. The blessing of the Pitris, the ancestors, is very important. Is of utmost importance. So I urge everybody, do this Shrad. When you have a child in the family, just as Raja Dasrath did, do this Shrad. This is a different type of Shrad from regular ones. For regular Shrad, when a person dies, you sit facing the south. But for this type of Shrad, which is called Nandi Mukh Shrad, we in fact sit facing the east. That is a difference there. And then, that is Nandi Mukh Shrad. There is another type of Shrad which is called Parvan Shrad. Parvan Shrad is what we would do during Petri Paksh. That is an offering for the ancestors. And as I said, we focus on 3 generations in particular. So most of the authorities on the subject say that 3 pinda should be given if we do Paro and Shrad. The type of Shrad that we do during Petri Paksh for all of our ancestors. 3 pinda. But many, I've heard some other authorities say that 7 pinda are given. 3 for 3 generations on father's side, 3 for 3 generations on the mother's side, and then 1 more for everybody else, 7. So, there are disputes, but I must say, without offending anybody, that most of the authority I have seen point to the 3 pinda. So if we do Shrad during Petri Paksh, that is a Shrad we're supposed to do, and for that we would face south, just like normal. So there are different types of Shrad. It's not only when somebody dies. I want to clear up that misconception as well. For different occasions, for Petri Paksh and even for happy and joyous occasions, we must do some kind of a Shrad to get the blessings of our forefathers. So that is why Petri Paksh is so important, because we see the blessing of our Pitris are not only relevant now but throughout the year. But this is a special period when they come to partake of any offering we have for them. So I urge everybody, please observe Petri Paksh in this way. Do not let fear or misunderstanding enter your mind. Keep your thoughts very focused during this time. Think of the blessings of your Pitris. Do not think of it in negative terms. And then this Petri Paksh will bring multitude of blessings for you. I guarantee that, if you take this advice into account. So as we conclude our program this week, I thank each and every one of you for tuning in and watching this program. On behalf of Bhai Navin Pagu, myself, and the entire staff at Akash Vani Media, I thank you once again for watching, and I do encourage you to continue tuning in every week. Please do join us next week and all the weeks to watch our interesting programs as we discuss various topics which are relevant to our Dharma and to our society today. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you next week again. Jai Shri Ram.
कोई लाख करे चतुराई, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई। जरा समझो इसकी सच्चाई रे, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई, रे करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई। कोई लाख करे चतुराई, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई। काहे मनवा धीरज खोता, काहे तू नाहक रोए, अपना सोचा कभी नहीं होता, भाग्य करे तो हो। चाहे हो राजा चाहे भिखारी, ठोकर सभी ने यहाँ खाई रे, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई। कोई लाख करे चतुराई, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई, करम का लेख मिटे नारे भाई, करम